Live on Facebook. I'm putting it on my personal timeline, Tony.
Cool.
Oh. Preparing to stream. Okay.
Going live.
Live now.
I look so dark compared to you.
That's what I'm saying is we need to get you a light, all right? Next week.
Yeah. It's really bright in here too. That's what's weird. This office is bright.
Here we go. Tony.
Jenny!
Hey, it's Jenny Wolek and Tony Baroni, and we are so wild and crazy. Look at us, wild kids going live, unplanned. We are wild.
Unplugged.
And normally you said that you'd like to go have a happy hour live video. So we'll do that soon too.
Yeah, we got to do that.
So the reason that I have Tony here going live is because next week I get to be in Tampa.
Yes.
And I'm teaching a class in your market center, and you are amazing at sharing and implementing the promise in your real estate business, and you've had great success with it, and that's something that we're looking to grow on. So I thought, hey, let's just knock out this whole video and learning together, and we can share it with everybody else. Sound good?
Yeah, that sounds great. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah. So you guys, let me see if oh no, see, I don't know how to do the Facebook Live, so I'm just going to leave my phone alone and we'll go for it. If you see anything,
I have it pulled up, so if someone throws out questions, I can handle that side.
Okay, awesome. Well, really, Tony, you and I have been friends for a long time. We got introduced by our mutual coach in the old days, Joe Bogar, and we've become friends, and I've learned so much from you, and you just were featured in Bold 2.0.
Yes, 2.0. That's awesome.
You're famous now for sure.
I just found out randomly when I think Jess Starr was in a class. She's like, "Did you know that you're going to be in this?" So, yeah, it's really exciting. We're really excited about it because I think everyone can learn from it. Yeah.
So let's just share with everyone why you were a part of Bold 2.0, where it all came from.
Yeah. So, long story short, a guy named Mike Hicks out in Idaho. He's in a smaller town. Jenny, remind me, I think, but he's in like 70,000 population.
Yeah.
Idaho Falls, if I remember correct.
Yeah.
So he was on stage and basically said, hey, this is what we do. And it was called The Promise. And when he explained it all, I thought to myself, I said, that's what I've done just with online reviews. So as at the time I was facing where I'm not in as much production as I was previously, and said, well, how do we continue to get referrals if I'm not going on the appointments? Now I realized as a leader, I probably wasn't training our team well enough to get referrals from clients and setting those expectations up front, which is, by the way, how I grew our business all these years. 14 years later, here I am. But it's really getting referrals, getting online reviews. And so we repackaged it. We didn't change the name because it has that emotional commitment, right, of The Promise. And we basically revamped it, and we added online reviews to it. And really, that's about it.
So it's been a year and a half now since you guys implemented. What have been the results that you could share?
Yeah, the results are we're up about 15% for past client referrals from a year and a half ago. So that's been real exciting. And then online reviews, we get about 75% of the time we get a review from at least one website out of the 6 we focus on. So that's been really cool too. And just we track it, and our team's all about it, and we go through the whole process and really establish it. It's funny because I was just on a listing appointment right before this, and I went over The Promise. It's like the second page of our listing presentation, and we talk about it up front, and that's the first thing we really talk about when we meet them.
Okay, that's good to know. Ours is at the back of our presentation, so maybe we
Yes.
can move that around.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, I'm a detail person, so I want to learn exactly what the system looks like as a team and the implementation of it. And let's just, for those who don't know the promise, I know you got it memorized, so you can go ahead and share it with me.
I wasn't prepared for that. No, I'm just kidding. Um, yeah, that works. So essentially, we have an ISA department, so I think that changes it a little bit than for someone that doesn't. So essentially, when someone calls in and they say, "Hey, we want to list our house with you, or we're considering interviewing you guys, or we want to buy a house potentially through you guys," the ISA department really sets a standard from the beginning, and they will do a full intake. If they're a seller, they're going to do a seller questionnaire. If they're a buyer, they're going to do a buyer questionnaire. And then ultimately, we're going to, at the end, let them know, hey, when the salesperson comes out, it will be, they will talk to you about the promise. And what the promise means to me is that we're going to, whatever they say. It's not everyone says the same thing. It's really about service and what that means to them. And then they relay that to the client, which is pretty cool. And we all have our own version of it. So
Okay.
the way I say it when I get there, I talk about, I say, one thing our team's all about is the promise. And the promise, can I share with what that means to me as your realtor? And they'll say, well, sure. And I'll say, well, I want to give you the best real estate experience you could possibly ever imagine receiving. And that's the goal. Okay. And I say that at the very beginning. And then we go through what that means for us, and then what that means to them. So, do you want to just script it,
Yeah,
because
let's hear
that's
it.
probably the
Yep.
easiest way? Okay, let me get a drink.
Yeah, me too.
All right. So we're going to be sitting down at the table, okay, and I'm going to basically go through my listing presentation. So we'll start there. So Jenny, thanks for having me out today. I really appreciate it. I wanted to go over some things that I feel is really important, that has us really, that stands out for our team versus maybe our competition. The very beginning here, I want to show you something, and I have our pre-listing packet right here. The second page is going to show the promise. So I'm going to open it up and I'm going to say, so one thing our team's all about is what we call the promise. Was that mentioned from Sammy on our team when you called in? I saw you did speak to Sammy, and they'll say yes or no. So at the beginning, if you're implementing this, right, and
Yeah.
you're hearing no, that's kind of a double check that your team's not doing what you need them to do. But
Yeah.
of course, our team, they have it down, so they're saying, yeah, he mentioned that, yeah. And I'll say, okay, is it okay if I share what the promise means to me? And they'll say yes. Okay, so really the promise means to me that we're going to give you the best real estate experience you could ever imagine receiving. If we were able to do that, would you be happy with that?
Yes, absolutely.
You would. Awesome. Awesome. So that's our number one goal. That's how we build our business. We've been in business since 2005, and I've found we just taken care of people one at a time, and we've asked for at the end to get feedback. And how we get feedback is via online reviews. We want to know how we did for you. So we're going to give you the opportunity to give us reviews so we can double check that we delivered the promise to you. Would that be okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. So we're going to focus on 6 key websites. We're going to give those to you at the end and measure how we did for you.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for doing that. Really, really appreciate it. The second thing we're going to do is sometime between today and closing, we want to compel you that we are so awesome at our service that you want to give us as a referral to someone else. Okay? That could look a lot of different ways. That could look like someone needs to buy a house, someone needs to sell a house, someone needs to invest in real estate, someone needs to add an addition to their house, or the refinance, anything to do with real estate. So for their real estate needs, we want to be your referral source. Would that be okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, good. And sometimes people aren't able to do it sometime between now and closing, but you'll be surprised, Jenny. You'll run into people all over the place that are buying and selling houses, I assure you. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I bet.
So when you do, we'd just like to earn your business by getting permission that we can call them. Okay?
Yeah.
Would that be okay?
Sure.
Awesome. Awesome. So that's what our promise is. Can I tell you what the promise is not?
Yeah.
Okay. The promise does not mean that everything's going to be perfect. In fact, things will go sideways, Jenny. I assure you, they'll go sideways at times. But what we do promise is that we'll have the solutions necessary when we actually, we'll have the solutions when we run into obstacles, and we'll be able to give you solutions. Okay. But things will not go perfect because human beings are involved in real estate and things will go sideways. So just want to let you know, we'll have the solutions when that happens.
Okay. All right.
So if we're able to deliver the promise to you, would you be absolutely thrilled?
That would be super awesome.
Okay, so that's the goal. Perfect. So that's how we're going to talk about it at the very beginning. Everyone talks a little bit differently about it, but that's the gist of it.
Something that you were doing, and I don't think everyone could see it. However, I know I've also seen Mike Hicks do it, is you had some hand gestures going on there.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's also important to note is sometimes between now and closing, and then, even touching them and getting by
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I'm at my stand-up desk, so you can't see my hands as well. But yeah, I definitely, the Italian in me gets those hands waving.
So I could imagine some people out there watching this may feel insecure of asking so bluntly at the front end. How do you get over that? And you've been in business a long time. You've got new agents that join your team or your rock star admin staff that are helping you with this stuff. I mean, how do they get over that fear of asking that question?
Well, you've got to believe it, right? So you got to believe you're the best at what you do, and you got to deliver it. You have to have the work ethic. That means as a team owner, you need to have the training in place for people to feel like that and to be up to speed quickly. If you're hiring newer agents, that they believe that they're the best at what they do, because if they don't, that's where the problem lies, right? If you're telling people this and you're not actually delivering the product, it's going to be a problem.
How many accountability checkpoints do you have along the way in this?
So that's great you asked. So ISA department's the beginning.
Yep.
Agent goes out. Stager goes out. Photographer goes out. Listing manager.
Are stager photographer selling it?
Yeah, they're talking about it when they go out. Yeah,
Okay.
they are.
Awesome.
Stager, and then we get to listing manager, closing coordinator, back to sales in the process between contract to close, and then listing manager again. Or I'm sorry, not listing manager, closing coordinator. And then typically our agents still go to closing, and we're talking about this at the end. And, basically we're giving them extensions if they're not able to give us a referral.
So let's do the at the closing table conversation.
Sure. So Jenny, on a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest, how would you rate how we delivered the promise to you?
You guys were awesome.
Honest truth. I want your honest truth.
No, I mean, seriously, you guys were always quick to respond. We're just so happy. Thank you so much.
Okay. So what would you rate it?
I'd say a 10.
A 10?
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, I can't
tell you how happy that makes me. That's the entire goal, is to make it a 10 plus experience.
Yeah.
So if you remember, there's a couple things we wanted to receive from you from delivering that. Okay. The first thing is something very simple. We want feedback. You just gave me amazing feedback. All we're asking is for that in writing. The way we need that is the online review. So later today, I'm going to email you an email with all the links of different places to do online review. I know you're busy, Jenny, and you're trying to move right now. I know it's crazy. I'm not doing a review for Tony Baroni. It's not probably the top of your list, but here in the next 2 weeks, I'll follow up with you. Okay. Just make sure you got that email, and make sure that we get that done at some point in the near future.
Okay, sure. No problem.
Okay. The other thing, I'm looking in the file here. I do not see that we actually received a referral. I just want to make sure it's accurate. Did we receive one or not?
Ouch. Ouch.
No, it's not in a bad way. It's just how we measure our service. So.
Okay. Well, I really always was thinking about it, and I just didn't hear anyone. So I promise that I will.
Oh, no worries, no worries. So, and we realized that that will happen. Like, not every time you're going to actually run into someone between closing. I know we sold your house super fast, and everything happened pretty fast. So, essentially, we'd love to extend that in the next 6 months. If you run into someone, remember permission to call is key for us because there's a zillion realtors here in Florida and throughout Tampa Bay. So, if when that happens, please get a hold of me, and I'll contact them
Okay,
immediately.
you got
Okay.
it. Okay, so Tony, how do you then track where is it tracked that they provided a referral or review, and then now they've got 6 months to help you out again, and where are you tracking that and remembering
So
to call?
our CRM, we can put all the notes in, and we can put follow-up dates. Um, so we do it all within our CRM. And then the way we do it at our team meeting weekly, we have a weekly team meeting on Tuesday between 10 and 11. We go through everything that closed that past week, and we go through each item, and we go through the source, the specific source. Did we get a review? And did we get a referral? And we track it every single time. So
Who is
then
who is solely responsible for it at that point?
it's actually our office manager.
Okay, so
Well,
agents can be nudged.
well, so good question. The agents are in charge. We had to pick along the way because it got confusing on who owns that. It's
Yeah.
the sales agent because
Okay.
we figured they had the most relationship out of everyone else. They've at
Okay.
least met typically in person.
Okay, maybe this agent is responsible. Is the office manager maybe the nudger of and reminder?
Correct. And then what we do at our 2 week follow up, we have, just because they may tell me, Jenny, you may tell me at the closing table it's a 10, right? But it's hard to not say that in front of me. So we have a double check system. Our director of lead gen, part of their role in the 2 week follow up, they actually call and they
Okay.
say on a scale from 1 to 10, and we ask them again the same question. And then she does the exact same thing and says, did you get that email from Tony? And
Mm,
they say, well, yeah, I'm sorry, I hadn't had a chance to do it. And
yeah.
she'll go, okay, I'm going to re-forward it to you right now, and I'll follow up next week to make sure you received it. And then typically they're like, they're gonna ask again next week, so they get it done that week 2 to 3 typically. And that's where
All right.
agents go wrong. They don't follow up enough.
I mean, fortune is in the follow up. That's just all it is. And I totally get it. And then I just also, I'm sorry, I'm a freak about like, okay, so who owns it? So
Yeah,
that
for
then
sure.
we can make sure that it is followed up with. Okay.
So
What other
yeah, you
details?
can go into many details about it, but you have to add systems for who owns it. That's a great point. And our admin are responsible for asks, how many times you ask for
Mhm.
referrals and online reviews, and we track that weekly as well.
What else do I need to know about this in order for it to be a 10 plus experience that we provide our clients?
Well, I would say that the beginning, it's not for everyone, so it can come across maybe a little cheesy to certain people. Um, but ultimately, I think setting expectations is really important. So whatever that is for what you want to receive in return, you got to lay out the standard of what, hey, if I give you the best experience you could ever imagine receiving, what does that mean for that client? Like what, and it could be nothing, right? It's not like they owe you because you gave them good service, but setting the standard or expectation of what, hey, I'm going to scratch your back, you scratch my back, and that's how the world works. Let's work together here. It provides buy-in. So I think what we'll do long term with this plan is going to be instrumental because we're talking about it enough where hopefully people will think of me, they think of real estate, you want them to think of Jenny Wolek, in the top three, right? And I think over time, if we're doing this properly, you're going to really be on top of minds for people when they're talking about real estate. That's the whole point.
All right, so now we've received a referral from them,
Yeah.
and we have a system and something that we have in our team called our rock stars. These are people that are so amazing. They share us with their friends and their family, and we love them for their support. So what do you have set up as far as your raving fans, your club? What do you guys have going on there?
Yeah, with we do top 25 referral giver party. It's usually in November. We also do a Halloween party in October, and then
So
we'll do
that's just
touches.
for that. That's just for
Well, the Halloween's for all past clients. The top 25 is only for our top 25 referral givers, and then we also do where we have, for example, Abby Anderson might be out there. She might actually run into this. So she's been our top referral giver in the history of our team. She owns a hair salon locally. She's kind of famous for what she does with as a hairstylist. So she's given us 36 closings
wow.
in our
Good job,
history.
Abby.
So, for people like her, we try to make it a really special experience. And, I'll call her randomly and say, hey, lunch is on me next week. Pick a day. And then I'll say, what do you guys want? And then we'll just order it and get it delivered. We'll send books to people. Our closing coolers, we try to make it special where people can pack what they want in there that represents the client and their team colors, whatever's important to them. So you just try to make it special, and I don't think we have an exact formula where we send out a gift card. If we don't do that, we kind of, it's more sporadic and it's more on the salesperson to decide what they want to do for that person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. What else can you think of whenever people ask you about the promise? Is something I feel like we covered lots and lots of it. I guess my last question would be relating to just, so you have the footprint of the script. Here's the promise, because I heard a lot of the words that you said I've heard before from Mike Hicks' script, and he shared it with me. I'm happy to share that with everyone.
Sure.
And you put your own spin on it. So as a team, do you practice it word for word, and then the natural flow of the conversation gets you to, as long as you're hitting certain high points that must be hit, like by the end of this transaction, I'm going to ask you.
Yeah, I think that we're not, I wouldn't say it's as formal as people may think. I mean, I hear different team members say it completely different, but the gist of it is we're going to give you the best service. And I don't care how that's said, and it needs to come from the heart, and it needs to be real and authentic. So whatever that looks like for each person, I'm completely open to. What I'm not okay with if they're not talking about it, because that is a problem. And when we first started, quite honestly, it was like, well, have you heard about the promise? Nope. And I'm like, how is that possible? I'm going on the listing appointment, right? And I'm like, so then I was circling back to ISA department. Hey, on this one, why didn't we talk about it? And
they got excited.
Right.
Human on the other end.
Well, and it's a bold statement, right? I'm going to give you the best real estate experience you can imagine. And we know stuff goes sideways. That's my favorite part of Mike Hicks' script is what the promise is not, because that's so true. But is it not true that we typically can come up with the best solution, right? And be able to navigate people through the process. So I made it a whole page in our pre-listing so it doesn't get skipped, right? Yeah. So if I'm not going on the appointment, the listing agent, it's right there for them to talk about.
Yeah, I think having it printed there, it is accountability for the agents to present it because it's in there. Okay, so now let's touch base on, I'm coming to town next week.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. We're real excited.
And you tell everybody what the date is and the times, because I forgot.
Yeah, so it's Thursday, June 20th from noon to 3 at our market center. We're Keller Williams, suburban Tampa, and located at 2350 East State Road 60 in Valrico, 33594. We're the big glass building, 5 stories. The training room's on the 2nd floor. We hold 150 people. And I think it's really cool, Jenny, of really how much you've discounted to be able to come out and make it work for us. So that's been really cool. And this new course, I'm really stoked to hear it because I've never set in on this material.
Yeah, so I'm excited. This is a Keller Williams University class that is called Customer Experience. And it's really a full day class. And I know my realtor friends getting them to commit to a full day class is a challenge. And so I thought, well, what can I do? Well, this has also been presented at family reunion sessions. And so I knew that the material could be done in 90 minutes. So
Sure.
what I've done is I really chunked it down to the most important pieces of it with tools and real life things that we really use in our businesses to provide the most amazing customer experience. It's really based on the 5S model, which means there are 5 words that start with S, and that's what we're going to cover. We will talk about how you set expectations, how you serve your customers, how you survey them along the way during the transaction while you're working together, how you surpass their expectations, blow their mind, deliver this wow experience.
Sure.
And then lastly, how you sustain that relationship after closing. Every step of the way, we're going to talk about real life examples of how we do this. So Tony, in the 30 minutes we talked about the promise. The promise is all wrapped inside of all of this.
It is.
It really is. I mean, you've got to start from the beginning of here's how we're going to work together. Are we in agreement that this is our commitment to each other? Right?
Well, and then what you said, the stat that comes to mind, Jenny, on that last S is really, what 70% of people are satisfied. Is it 80%, 70 or 80% are satisfied with their agent, but yet 12% of people use the same realtor. And that is just mind blowing to me. And it was when I first got into real estate. It's like, wow, I have a chance, right? Like there's people that would consider using me as a realtor, even if they had another agent before. And that's the staying in touch part, which is probably the most important part for your future business, right?
Absolutely. You've been in this business a long time like me, and there is nothing better than the come list me's. The, hey, Tony, it's Jenny. I haven't talked to you or returned any of your phone calls or responded to any of your emails for the past 8 years, and now I'm ready to sell my house. Come on over.
Right. Because we think, well, like I think for the invitation for client parties, the activity of the invite is the most important. Whether they show up, you can't control that. And it's just reaching out and touching base. And they might not call you back for a while, but that doesn't mean they don't hear you, right?
They do. They hear you. They hear you. That's where I think many new agents get super discouraged. And really the relationship and the database business game is a long game.
It is.
Takes time. It takes time. And now if you're new in the business, you got to start there. And there's this book. It's this thing. It's called The Millionaire Real Estate. Have you heard of this book?
I have. Yeah. I've read it a couple times too.
Yeah, I've got it bound now, and
It's still relevant in my opinion.
Well, really, I mean, this is how you build your business. So many new agents, they try and get creative and figure out the quick way to success in this business, when really it's just having repeatable systems, models, and tools that we know are going to work. Now, if you haven't earned the right to only focus on that, then you may need to make the phone calls to the dreaded for sale by owners or expireds in order to be building up your business. And at the same time, you have to have the foundation of a database. That's what I'll plug this while we're chatting.
Sure.
The day before I'm with you, I'm going to be with James Shaw in Northwest Tampa Market Center, and we're going to be teaching what's your database worth. Take command of your database. And so it's really the precursor to the time with you of now you've got this database and you have business. The other thing that our people are going to walk away with, Tony, and you're going to get one of these when you attend my class next Thursday.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Is that they're actually going to create their own value proposition. We hear it all the time. What's your value proposition? How are you different from other agents? And so many times we don't take the time to figure it out. This is going to be a doing class. We're going to take time.
Well, everyone can do that, right? Everyone needs that.
Yeah, we're going to fill out. This is my workbook I'm going to bring you. It's fancy. And we're going to go through all of the different steps of this 5S model and understand the value of repeat and referral business. And I think everyone would enjoy that. Just saying.
Yeah. Oh, I think so. And then like our team just redid our values like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
4 months ago. So it's always evolving, right? Where you may need to revisit it after a year or two, or your mission statement and
Oh,
what's your value proposition. Super important to
it's
find out.
so it's so important. What else do we need to talk about before we get off here and get back to
Well, I think just to repeat, I think our market center, it's open to all Keller Williams offices. So technically, we're the Kevin Chadwick's our OP. He's a great OP. There's a few OPs within Tampa Bay. We've had people come to our MREA series, which has been every month, all year long. We had some people from Savannah come down last month, so or 2 months ago. So we really have people traveling from pretty far to come to these classes. So if you're in Tampa Bay, it's pretty simple to drive over. You're welcome. It doesn't matter what market center you're in. If you're not with Keller Williams and this sounds interesting to you, just know you're invited too. And the the fee is $29 for the class. It does include a light lunch as well, and it's going to be noon to 3, and it's June 20th from noon to 3 o'clock at the Valrico Market Center, Keller Williams, suburban Tampa. You're not going to want to miss it. Jenny's going to be awesome. She always brings it, and I'm not saying this because she's right here, but she is one of the best trainers in our company. And you just recently got certified, right?
Yeah, Keller Williams
What was that?
University certified, and also a Quantum Leap for Young Adults instructor as well, which I love sharing that as well.
That'd be really cool to get you out here for that sometime too. I know our market center is excited. Yeah, everyone can PM me if they have any questions about it. There's an Eventbrite link
Yeah,
that
I'll
will
share.
attach on this feed. So if you wanna sign up, you're able to do that. And we're here to answer any questions. And it's going to be an awesome training day. We're looking forward to Jenny Wolek in Tampa Bay, Florida.
I'm
Watch
excited
out.
to see you, Tony Baroni.
That's going to
And
be fun.
I haven't looked on Facebook. I have no idea if anybody watched us or not. I hope you did. I hope you got some good stuff out of this. Tony is amazing, and I appreciate you.
Yep. Same here, Jenny. Thanks.
All
Thanks
right.
so much. We'll see you soon. Okay.
Okay. Hold on. And hold on.